Let's talk about a different kind of strength today. Not the kind that lets you strike back, but this incredible power you can find in just being still. This is all about emotional control and how sometimes the biggest battles are won by just refusing to fight.
I mean, really think about it for a second. Maybe it was a tense meeting at work, some heated debate online, or, a family argument. That moment where your silence, your refusal to pour gasoline on the fire, was way more powerful than anything you could have said. That's the quiet strength we're diving into.
So, our story. It starts with this idea of honor and the heavy, heavy price a young man named Leo paid for it. I want you to picture a town that feels like it's been carved right out of the rock and sea. You know the kind, where the salt just hangs in the air and everyone knows everyone. Life there is tough, built on tradition and a powerful sense of respect for each other.
And in this town, there's a young guy named Leo. He's known for being fiercely loyal. He's strong, and he really sees himself as the guardian of his family's name, carrying their honor like a shield.
And that was his whole problem, you see. Every little insult, every sideways glance aimed at his family, he took it personally. It was always on the defensive, always reacting. And this constant state of battle was just wearing him down, wasting all his energy on fights that didn't really matter in the end.
But of course, into this fragile peace comes a storm. And this particular storm came in the form of a man designed to cause chaos.
Yeah, this merchant shows up, and he's loud, he's arrogant, and he has this nasty talent for finding exactly what makes a person insecure. He sets up shop right in the middle of town, not just to sell his stuff, but to poke fun at their way of life, to try and chip away at their pride.
He'd be shouting stuff like this, just dripping with sarcasm. And it didn't take him long to find his favorite target, young Leo. He saw that fiery pride and aimed his sharpest insults right there.
And you can just imagine, every single part of Leo is screaming, "Fight back! Defend your home!" You can almost feel his fists clenching. But right in that moment, this flicker of doubt, maybe a memory of his dad's tired face after some pointless fight, it made him pause. And instead of jumping in, he just turned and walked away. And you can bet he heard the traitor's laughter following him all the way.
So, feeling totally humiliated, totally confused, Leo heads for the cliffs to be alone. And it's there, in that quiet moment of desperation, he finds some wisdom from a very unexpected place.
This is where he meets Alara, the old lighthouse keeper. Now, she'd seen it all. Generations of storms, both out on the ocean and inside people's hearts. She rarely came into town, but she saw everything from her tower, and she finds Leo just staring out at the angry waves, his own feelings a perfect match for the sea below.
And she doesn't give him a shoulder to cry on. Nope, she just asks him a question. A really simple, powerful question that just cuts right through all his anger. Does the cliff fight back, or does it just stand there solid and unshaken, while the wave throws all its energy at it and just disappears?
What Alara was getting at is really simple, but it's huge. When you react, you're basically handing them the controls. Your anger, that's their win. But when you choose to be still, you stay in control. You protect your own peace. One way gives them a quick win, but the other, that gives you a strength that lasts.
And this right here is the heart of it all. Your inner peace is like a fortress. Nobody can break down those walls unless you decide to open the gate for them. Their words, their anger, it can't actually touch you. Only you can choose to give them that power.
So once he gets this, really gets it, his whole world just shifts. He's not a shield that's meant to be hit anymore. Now he's a stone, unshakable. So he goes back to the square. And get this, nothing's changed. The scene is exactly the same. The traitor is still yelling his insults. His voice is just as loud. Nothing on the outside is different. But inside Leo, everything is. This time, the traitor isn't looking at a target. He's yelling at a cliff. Leo just stood there, calm, centered. He didn't argue. He didn't try to defend himself. He just listened. And without Leo's anger to feed on, the insults just became noise, empty sounds with no power. And the other folks in town, they saw his stillness, and they started to find their own.
See, the thing about this traitor, his whole power trip was based on getting a reaction. And when he got nothing back, no anger, no fear, nothing, he was just a guy shouting into the wind. He wasn't beaten in a fight. He was just dissolved by this incredible collective peace.
He packed up his things and left, defeated by the one thing he couldn't break: silence.
Okay, so what does this all mean for us? What's the real lesson here in Leo's story that we can actually use?
You know, a lot of us think that being strong means winning the argument, right? Getting the last word in, defending our point of view no matter what.
But the real power, it's that quiet confidence of knowing who you are so deeply that you don't need anyone else's approval. It's the freedom that comes from letting go of that need to win every little battle.
And that really sums it all up. The fight with the traitor was never the real conflict. The real fight was the one happening inside Leo, that battle against his own knee-jerk anger. And by choosing to be still, he won the only fight that ever really mattered.
So, I want to leave you with a question to think about. Look at the battles happening in your own life. Which ones are you fighting that honestly just aren't worth your peace? What do you think might happen if, instead of fighting the wave, you chose to become the unshakable stone?